lived there, and the Schmeeds lived up here. That I remember.
I never heard that name.
And they were nice, but neither one of them had children. So I think we were the first ones that had great big family that moved out here. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's interesting they wouldn't have had kids.
Well, I don't think either one of them was able to have kids.
Gotcha.
That washed out, didn't it? Woo. Okay, then we lived up where those trees are. That was the house I grew up in, which was tore down. So that's where you're going, Stanley. So,
14 rows to this house.
and those two evergreen trees we actually planted. There was not a tree on that place, and we tried to get trees to grow. And the only thing we had any luck growing was those few evergreen trees.
Right here.
Okay, you want to get out like we did?
Yep.
And there was a chicken house out over here that Dad used as a...
By the evergreens, you mean?
No.
No. Closer?
Closer.
Okay.
But this is River Well. Oh, there's the... You can see the other one too.
Oh, I see. Okay, put it down, son. It's trash.
Yeah, this was a regular well. And we, it had a handle on the back of it, and we pumped it. And the Dad put an electric motor on it, and it just coming.
And that over there is the...
And that was the dug well. Well, see, that's part of that would have been
a ladder.
a ladder on the other well.
Small ladder.
I don't know what that is. That was a dug well, and Mom was, of course, afraid that us kids would
Get in it.
fall in, so they used it to dump their trash in when we first moved out there, until she had it filled up, so she wasn't afraid that we'd fall in it.
Right. So, was that wood over there?
This is what's left of what was left of the barn after the
tornado.
After the tornado went through, there was still some part that had a grain bin in the middle of that barn, and it didn't take that.
Oh.
And part of the one side, so Dad built a smaller structure over what was left. But it fell down in the meantime. The ladder there, that looks like a ladder, it actually was a two-story thing.
Oh.
And there was a little room up above that us kids would go up there and play with.
Be careful, children.
Yeah. It had a little dugout underneath it.
Is this the top of a pot?
The top of a water jug is what that is.
So, hey, what are you doing?
It was dark and scary to me underneath there, and I don't know why they made it. And I remember, in my mind, this great big old lizard living down there that looked like, a ghoul monster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was the color of a sand puppy.
You think owns this now?
The same people, Hildreth.
The Hildreths still own this?
Yeah, Hildreth still own this. The grandson of the man who owned it when we lived here.
Okay, because this was the Hildreths' house.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that...
the other one was owned by Hildreth too.
Okay.
So when person that lived in the other house died, and Hilgers bought that land, then he offered that house to Dad because it had
Plumbing.
plumbing.
This house had plumbing. It just didn't work.
This house, when it was built, and I don't know when it was built, would have been a mansion in its time. Yes, it was ahead of time. It had furnace ducts that ran all up off this broiler that was down in this basement,
Hmm.
and it had plumbing. But I think by the time we moved out there, the sewer that they had fell in, the sewer
Oh.
system,
Hmm.
because there was a great big hole over someplace that we thought was where the sewer system was. And it didn't work. And how it worked, Grace, is they filled this great big tank that was up in the attic, and that gave the pressure.
To fill the toilet. Yeah.
It had 2 toilets in it. It had what they called a water closet upstairs, and it was just a water closet. It was very tiny, had a stool and a sink, and that was it.
Right.
And downstairs it had a stool, a bathtub, and a sink.
So you could actually take a
And
bath.
then it actually had a sink in the kitchen too, which they pulled out because it didn't work. But
So how did you get water?
we walked
You
out
there
to the well,
and just got
filled
it.
the buckets,
Yeah.
carried them in the house. That's an old oil can or something.
Please don't fall in.
And that Stanley is what they called an old gas can.
Yeah. So whose house do you think it was that built it? I mean,
I
I'm
knew
guessing
that.
it wasn't the Hilgers.
No one knew it. No, I can't think of it.
He just bought it.
Henry. It was the Henry house. Henry was the last name. And what happened to those people? Because like I said, they would have had to been well-to-do to build the house like that. Because there were stained glass windows in that house.
Oh. Wonder what
I
happened
mean,
to them.
it would have been a mansion in its day.
Yeah.
What happened to them and why they,
Left.
moved off the land, I don't have any idea.
So Mr. Hilgers, he just bought property.
He just bought the land.
Yeah.
He was a very well-to-do farmer in the area. In fact, he's probably one of the richest in this area. And how he got rich, I don't know. Whether they had struck oil. See, now, I honestly think those are all parts that my dad left behind when he moved to the other house.
Yeah. Because he worked on cars.
Because he worked on cars. So, and I don't know whether this just fell in or it almost looks like they tore it down.
Yeah.
Because if it had fell in, it would have been.
There'd be people that would pay money for this wood, too.
I think the garage, where you drove in, was say in between this post and where you drove in.
Oh, I see.
And I remember, and you don't see it now, but the driveway was actually down about that far, at least, from the lawn and the potato patch.
Yeah.
And why, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's probably just erosion, maybe.
I don't know.
So what, you kind of had to do a little jump up in order to get up into the potato patch? Like if you went...
Yeah. And we used to play croquet on the front lawn and put the wickets like close to that drop off so that if you didn't know what you're doing,
Yeah,
your
no.
ball would go down and then you'd have to go through that. But I don't see that. So it's evidently. Well, you can kind of see it here.
Right there.
Where, because it's a bit dry, so, right? See how it goes down?
Yeah.
Of course, none of those trees were there. See how it goes down there?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that's grass, but...
drift over it.
Well, too damn good.